Brian Reeder, Director of Football Operations.
Yep.
So my class is all about leadership, and this is a video just interviewing you about leadership in general, and with your new role in a leadership position, in a structured leadership position. I have about 5 questions to ask you.
Okay.
Question 1: how do you manage expectations with your boss? Like how you would think it was how you think you would manage it versus what the reality is of your job now, or what you thought it would be versus what it is.
I think the reality of my job really is, with my boss, the head coach, I really have to take what he thinks and what he wants into consideration with every action that I take. I have to be on top of everything that I do. There's really no room for error in this position, so I also have to take information to him, which can be good, can be bad, but I have to go in there and when I do speak with him about certain things, I have to have a very detailed response to anything that's going on. I can't come in and fumble over my words.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, expectations also lie in the fact that I've got to take care of our student athletes first, and as long as they are happy and we keep them happy and healthy the whole time, then there's never an issue. But the expectation is always to get it done to the very best of my ability, and if it's there's really no room for error in this position, because the student athletes' lives are literally at stake for pretty much every action that I take.
Awesome, thank you. This is might be kind of another question, but we've gone over narcissism quite a bit, and kind of false confidence that a lot of leadership people in leadership positions have. What role would narcissism kind of take as a leader? I mean, how much do you have to project confidence? How much do you actually believe in it, or how much do you have to fake it until you make it, kind of thing? It's kind of a personal question, but
yeah, you really gotta, this profession is really all about, especially where I work here, is really about having fire and passion with everything that you do. I would say that I personally have to believe in the culture that we have. If I don't believe that culture, then I don't have any business being here. So fake it until you make it doesn't really work, I don't think, in any industry. You really have to believe in the product that you're putting out. There are times where you're like, oh man, I don't want to be here today, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, you really have to have passion and energy for everything that you do for each and every individual that you work with. Especially, again, the student athletes. It's very important to show them that you believe in your culture, and it's important to keep that strive for perfection in everything you do. So I don't think, personally, I don't think any profession should have that. I don't think you should have a fake till you make it. I think you should be completely 100% into what you're doing, and if you're not into it, then you shouldn't be doing it, or you should be fired.
Yeah, exactly. And that actually segues really well into my next question, was about what percentage is kind of tough, but how much of what you have to preach and we have to project aligns with your values, and have you had to change, sacrifice any of your values for organizations, or vice versa? Have you come across any, nothing in particular, but just has that ever been an issue?
I think at first, if you're not used to the way things are done in a certain place, you definitely have a little bit of a shock. From my background, I didn't have this kind of culture when I was a student athlete. People didn't believe in the product, but I think it's, again, it's just so important that your thoughts and beliefs are one with everything, and you do have to change. If you don't change, then you ain't gonna make it. And if you don't make it, you're never gonna have a job. You're gonna have to find going to get a second opinion on an injury. You have to believe in what the boss is telling you. You got to do everything that they want you to do, otherwise you're not going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think it's very important to believe in what you're doing, and yeah.
And what degree do you think, or I guess, how much do you think you would be able to change? I mean, we always want to get better, we're always striving to get better, and kind of everything we do, and we always see things that we could get better. You know, we don't necessarily know why some things are done this way,
Right.
and obviously you have a better viewpoint. But to what degree are you able to maybe change some things that, you know, this is how they were done in the past versus, you could do this way better versus, doing a different process,
Yeah. I think it goes back to like your very first question, like what are your expectations of,
Mm-hmm.
of what you do? There could be better things and better ways for things to be done, and I think there's always room for suggesting those things. But if your boss doesn't like it, or if he thinks there's a better way, you still you gotta I think the saying that I'm sure you'll hear in this profession is, doesn't matter how mad you are at your boss, you just don't want your boss mad at you.
Yeah.
So I think there's always room for change,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got to be good change, and at the same time there's always room for sacrifice to do things the way that someone else wants them done.
Mm-hmm.
And you really gotta weigh your pros and cons of how important is your feelings and how well you think things should be done.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, it really just comes down to the expectation of your position.
So that's a good answer.
To answer your question pretty
Yeah,
well.
yeah, it did. Thank you. Do you have I guess since you are one of the younger directors I've ever heard of, and it is being a new rule, not like you haven't been around football or operations or anything, but did you ever know of another director or of someone before you that you try to model yourself off of, or is there someone you try to aspire to be, or a type of person you try to aspire to be?
I think really the last two people in this position before me, Mark Vaught, who was the director of football operations when I was playing,
Mm-hmm.
He did everything he possibly could for the program. He worked his butt off. Unfortunately passed away while he was still working here. And, just when I was playing, especially because I was gone for a few years, but just seeing the drive and passion for this job and how to be the best he could possibly be, how to make everybody happy while keeping a cool head. No matter how much he got yelled at, he still would just keep chugging away and doing everything he could, took on roles that he probably didn't even have any business being in. But, he wasn't a football coach, but at the same time he was, did everything he could in his power to make it as good as it could be. And I still have files from him that I base my job
That's
off of.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
And
so cool.
Bobby Daly before me, who's now a position coach here, he really passed down, I think, Mark's legacy that he left here as a director of football operations. And so, Bobby did a great job of this position, and I still go to him for help, and thank goodness that he's still around. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'd be very lost, and I'd be asking a lot of questions of a lot of people who probably wouldn't know an answer. Those two guys, I definitely try to base what I do and how well I do it off of what they did in the past.
Yeah.
If not, try to be even better.
Yeah.
What can I do to be better? How, much information can I pass along to other people to make operating this football program smooth?
Yeah.
And that's, my goal is really, one, to keep head coach happy, and two, to do everything the best of my ability. And, right now my ability is fairly limited because I'm inexperienced at the position, but, just as the season goes, and after the season I'll have a year under my belt, there shouldn't be too many new things that get thrown my way. So, being young in this profession, it's not easy. And I've met a few guys that are young, a few guys that are old, but I like it. It's good. You get to see the ins and outs of the program, and hopefully aspiring to be head coach one day.
Yeah.
You get to see exactly what
Everything's
all
about. Dirty details.
Exactly.
Everything.
So there's so many more things that go to it than people watch on TV. They watch these games and have zero idea how the team got there, how it got scheduled, how this happened, how that happened. And really, this position is making everything that you see on TV come around, making sure the team's there, making sure they're healthy, have a place to stay. hotel to stay at, being places at a certain time, and you know, with guidance of other people, it makes it a lot easier.
Which, by the way, this last weekend went really smooth. I don't know.
So,
I don't know if anyone had said
knock on
anything,
wood,
but it
yeah,
was really
yeah.
smooth.
Good weather and you know, good people to base it off of how they did in the past, and hopefully have 5 more of those this year.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Brian Reeder, Director of Operations. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Yep.